Welcome back to Meaningful Conversations Live. This is Beata Seweryn-Reid, your host. If you are here for the first time, thank you so much for joining me. And for those who are repeating viewers, listeners, thank you so much for your support and following. Today in Meaningful Conversations, I have a very special guest. Her name is Diana Olynick. I'm gonna make it right. And so, Diana, thank you so much for being here with me. And we will talk about minimalism. But before we go there, please tell us more who you are. I know that you are an engineer by education, by what you were studying, but today you are a business owner, you are entrepreneur, podcast host. Tell us more. Who are you? What you bring to this world, and what drives you?
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. I am super, super excited. I was really waiting for this moment to come because there are a lot of things that maybe might be interesting for all of you. So I'm just all up to share all of that. And so first of all, yes, I am Diana Olynick. I'm an engineer by profession and a business strategist. And sometimes I like to say that I'm like a business organizer. So that type of person that you see sometimes that goes to houses and try to organize the house because there is so much clutter and so much going on. And the person helps the owners to actually streamline the house and put it beautiful and maintain the systems. That is like what I do, but for businesses. So I help people streamline their businesses. But it started actually with my own journey, and it became after so much struggle and a long story of like anybody else with so many challenges. I discovered at some point in my life about this beautiful philosophy which is called minimalism, and that's when pretty much this was born so far. Yes.
And when did you start practicing it? Because sometimes from the moment when we hear about something and we might get excited, but to the day when we take action on it and then it becomes your actually life, your business, sometimes it takes years. So how was it with you?
Yes, yes. Thank you for that question. That kind of like aha moment or moment of realization for me came after, struggle a lot in jobs, having busy schedules, working for 12 hours sometimes because my job in engineering was in the field actually. It was in the civil field. And it required a lot of myself to be there. And at some point, women, when we start to have a family, we start to consider or consider again those roles in our lives. So what happened to me is that I started to wonder, is there any actual opportunities or possibilities for me? And that overwhelmed the way that I was seeing my life, coming back home, having to organize the home, having to, all of these busy schedules, family, job, home, everything to fulfill completely all of those roles became overwhelming for me.
Okay.
And that is when I realized, I said, I cannot keep this anymore. It is so much for me. And what other ways are for me so I can have a life that is more fulfilling and that I can, develop my role in a way that is more, that I feel it easier or more natural, not like under pressure to fulfill those roles from the society. So that's when I decided I am gonna apply this. I found actually this through books and my own research, the minimalist philosophy, and I really fell in love because I realized that by getting rid intentionally of all of those things that maybe don't add a lot of value or satisfaction to your life, you can actually find more meaning in the things that actually are fulfilling your heart, basically. So that's what I did. I started to apply that at home first because it's a philosophy that starts in the physical, world, in the tangible world where we intentionally get rid of all of that. And the journey is so beautiful that takes you also to realize, is there more actually? It's not just the physical things, but you start to realize that even with your own thoughts, even with your own life, the way that you approach the life, you start to have develop a sense of meaning in things that before you just bypass and didn't realize that had a lot more weight than other distractions that are out there. So that is how the journey specifically in minimalism started. And as I say, it extended to my own life at the point that I could establish now a more center position or alignment in myself to wonder every time that I'm going to go to a mall, for example, do I really need that dress? I am a woman, of course. We love clothes, we love shoes.
You always look great. Oh God.
Our house is beautiful. We love beautiful spaces. We're super visual. So it's that is me. And that took me before to get a lot of stuff at the point where I said, this is unmanageable. I have kids, and I realized that I had so many toys for the kids, and I didn't. I realized that it was like an overburden for me, having to get rid of some toys. The kids starting to experience that toys stress, visual stress, where they could see many toys there, but they didn't want to play with them. So we feel at some point that the solution is to buy more toys, because they are bored of those ones. So buy more and more and more. But that's not the solution. So the solution was to get rid of the stuff that we were not using and start to appreciate and value what we are actually content with, and get rid of the distractions. Sounds very general. There are systems.
I have to stop you here because you said so many great things that I think I'm gonna forget before I want to ask more about that. First of all, thank you, Garlene, for being here with us. Garlene is my dear friend. Great to hear you both. Great to see you in here, Garlene, as well. We love you too. Thank you so much for being and supporting us. I see Kent is with us. Thank you so much, Kent, for you being here. And going back a little bit to what you said, because there's so much wisdom. One word that is like jumping on me and standing out is what you said, meaning. When you got rid of this burden that was overwhelming, you got more meaning in your life. And it's what this show is about. I want people to not only have, but actually experience, to feel it, the alignment that you're talking about. It's the meaning in life. And you did it perfectly and beautifully. Well, you said that when you got into this concept, you started with your personal life, and I love it. And you got rid of the toys for your kids, because when there is so much, they play for a few seconds and then they don't find value because there is something else and something else. And this is so different and new to me, because all people that I know with kids and families, friends, we all want more. Yeah, we want more in business, more in life, more of this, more of that, bigger house, bigger car, more cars, more stuff, clothes. So it's amazing what you are able to do. And then because you're business strategist. So how did you make this transition from your personal life and started to teach businesses about that? What is minimalist business? Is it desireless or owning less? What is it?
Yeah, that's such a great question, because that is part of, as I explained at the beginning, what I do now. And it started with another realization moment where many years ago, when I was working as a consultant for small business owners, teaching them how to implement systems, that means quality management systems, strategic management, lean management. This sounds for some people new, but it's like a philosophy from Japan applied to big companies, in the corporate world. So the companies become more profitable and more, as a company grows, there is more going on, basically.
Right.
To improve these complexities or make them manageable, there are these strategies. When I speak about systems, before I go a little bit in, I don't mean platforms. I don't mean apps. I don't mean software, because sometimes people confuse systems with this type of platforms. So I don't mean platforms. I mean, a system by definition is a transformation or a process that happens with some inputs, then the transformation happens, and then some outputs. So in that frame, everything is a system, right? The solar system, the everything is a system. So that type of frame applied to a business means that there are certain methods that have been developed in the world for big companies to make the companies more profitable, let's say.
Right.
So what I realize is that these systems that are applied at home for me are very similar to the systems from lean management. So it means that by intentionally getting rid of all the inefficiencies, all the activities in the business that are not serving the core, like the core fundamental of the business, then you can make your business even more profitable and more cost efficient. So if you reduce all the stuff that is not really adding value, of course, as a result, we're going to have more productivity and more profitability, because we are getting rid of those costs. So at the outside, it sounds great and it sounds easy. The complication comes when we have this little business, and it's like a person. It's exactly as a person. We don't have a clear purpose for that business, definition for that business, and like a core mission for that business. Sometimes we think that we have it, but when we're going to make decisions, we get super distracted, for example, with social media, having so many ways to market, right? For marketing, for sales. So there are sales funnels, there are organic marketing, content marketing, referrals, JV partnerships. Like, there are so many ways. So when we get distracted by so many ways, we get tempted to try to apply them all to see how maybe I can grow the business. And not having that core very, very clear makes for all of those distractions.
Okay.
Is to also get rid of stuff inside a business, just as we do it in the house, and implement systems just as we do it in the house. Because clearly the philosophy is super beautiful, minimalism. The problem is to maintain it. We can't get rid of the clutter and stuff, but how do we maintain the house streamlined as we applied from the beginning? That is what is a little bit complicated, but just when we don't have systems in a business happens the same. And the second reason that it becomes a little bit, a business can become something overwhelming for a person, is when we refuse to have actual management in a business. A business is such an adventure that at the beginning sounds so awesome, like the hustle, like the adventure, like the possibilities, all of that enthusiastic motivation is awesome, but it needs, although it sounds boring, it needs management. So it needs specific tools to actually make it work just at home, just like it happens at home. So the application of this is what brings a business a business owner, for example, a leader like you or anybody else who is listening to this, wonder, what is the real meaning for my business? Just as we ask for ourselves. And is this activity actually providing value for that final goal of the customer satisfaction? Is actually doing it or not? So when we ask that question, it opens a lot of possibilities, because we can see that we are doing this, but it's not actually adding value. We are spending in this software, but it's actually not. I'm not using it totally, fully for the actual goal. I'm trying to get these, additional courses for myself, additional infrastructure, additional people in the team, but it's not gonna add the actual value to the final profitability. So we get sometimes super enthusiastic, but we forget the philosophy and the management in a business. And all that rooted in that question of, is that actually needed? Is that actually adding value? Is what helps people to actually create something that is sustainable, because we can create a business that maybe in 3 months, if we've done certain marketing strategies and invest in a lot of marketing, maybe we can make $1 million, $2 million. But how to maintain it? That's when systems come to place. Systems are done so you can sustain whatever goal you have. And that is true, not just in business, but also in life, which is beautiful.
Exactly. It's what I hear when you talk. That
Yes, let's say we want to develop the habit of journaling, the beautiful thing that you taught us in the IG Live, Beata. So I'm again grateful for that, for the journaling. But sometimes the problem is to maintain the habit. So then we have to create a system so actually it's sustainable, and we can do the journaling every day at the time that we want and obtain the actual benefits of that beautiful practice. So everything is rooted in systems and in asking that big question, that is that meaningful? And we can realize that actually doing less is doing more. That is in general.
That is so beautiful what you said. And again, everything what you are talking about, the business and another word that really stood out for me is management. You said that we have to manage that, and it applies, like you said, to our private lives as well. Like we have to manage our houses, we have to manage our relationships, we have to manage everything. So that is so, like, business and life, they goes together. It's really hard to separate them. And the beautiful, and if it's not there, in my opinion, there is chaos. And when there is a chaos, everything falls apart. I mean, it's how it feels that it falls apart, and we cannot keep growing businesses or our houses. The question that you ask, when we implement the systems, you said, is that actually needed? Does it actually work, or does it bring value? Oh my gosh, we can also apply it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Only in the business, but for everyone who's listening now and they are entrepreneurs, what would be the first step, that maybe the first step towards this, very simple system that they can implement today to their lives and businesses that will bring more impact?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for the question. I'm actually gonna offer 4-step or frame that you can apply. You can get this and apply it everywhere. But let's start with the frame of business. Basically, everything is rooted, as we said, in purpose. So we have to be able to go back every single time that we're gonna make a decision, any type of decision in business or in life, and ask about how aligned is this with the result that I want, the strategy? Is this aligned actually with my core purpose? This is a frame that is called the M4, which stands for minimalist 4. And this is a frame that I am the author of this frame because this is inspired in a minimalist, in a Japanese model that is called Kaizen, which is the meaning of that is continuous improvement. So the first is called meaning. So we have to go being able to ask constantly, is this aligned with my own meaning, with my own purpose, and determine if this is aligned or not, to actually make the decision of getting rid of that before investing time, money, effort, resources. And if it's not aligned, of course, we get rid of that and we keep iterating with any other possibilities that we want or decisions that we want to make. In this stage in business, it looks like determining actually the processes that we know in business are needed in order to get that final goal of customer value or customer satisfaction. So it's determining the processes. Processes means the financial process. Processes mean the marketing process, the sales process, everything that is happening that in a traditional companies long time ago, it used to call departments. But in a system frame, it cannot be called departments because they are not isolated parts. They are interrelated. So they act as a process. So that is the first one. Determine what are the processes. Maybe there are processes that we have there that are not actually adding value. So we can get rid of that. And then we move into another step that is more related with actually getting rid of the processes and activities, additional tasks, analyzing those costs, the impact, and creating actual procedures. This is very important because, look, for example, somebody in your team decides to leave, a virtual assistant, and you start to suffer because the virtual assistant knew how to do certain tasks, and now you're going to have to jump until you find someone who actually does that job. So it requires some training, additional resources. You start to get, in panic when you don't have systems. But if you have a procedure already in video or written that says exactly the step 1, the step 2, 3, 4, 5, to actually fulfill all of those requirements in that role, then you just have to pass that to the new person and you are done. The idea is to create something that works kind of like by itself. It's like a little machine. A business is like a little machine that you are the big operator, but all the parts have to be working together. So that is the idea. So in this stage is called move, because you actually apply, intentional action to make these procedures and everything that needs to be start running by itself. It happens the same in life. We define exactly what we want and we start applying action to that. Then we move into a step that is called measure, where we usually don't do it. I hear this a lot in marketing. In marketing, there is a lot that is called, they call a lot about this term that is called KPIs, which is key performance indicators. So in marketing, people got used to try to analyze how much engagement, I had when I did this live video, for example, or how many people have been, sharing my posts or looking at my posts. So then I can produce more of that. Those are actually statistics that are saying how something is behaving. And based on that, you actually create more of that. The same happens, but those KPIs should be for all the other processes that you define. So we should have actually indicators for finance, for sales, for marketing, and for your core operation. Let's say that you're a designer, a graphic designer.
Right.
You have to have indicators that measure the number of errors that have been reduced with the, back and forth of the client requesting changes. That can be an indicator. So it's measuring everything that we do. Usually we have been doing it with just certain processes, but it's important to measure all the rest processes. Otherwise, as we want to be the real CEO, the job of a real CEO is actually make decisions, strategical decisions based on data, based on objective results. And this is the way, analyzing these results. So as we want to create something like a machine, you should be able to see how the machine is behaving and making decisions on that data, based on that data. And the final step is called maintain. And this is how we're going to apply continuous improvement so that it continues running. So it requires some sort of sustainability philosophy there, and also decision making based on that data, and strategies. So we can actually create something that is for long term, not for these 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, no, but forever. That's when we want to have this business, hopefully. So
right.
that is the frame. It's called meaning, move, measure, maintain, the M4. And this is the general frame that we can apply. And as you can see now, not just in business, but also in life, because we can go back to our meaning always and analyze if this is something that we do. For example, if we go to the mall, as I said, if I'm going to buy this, is actually adding value for me, it's actually something meaningful for me or not. And then move, which is taking action in the plan that I have already decided for me. Measure, so going back every time and analyzing and maintaining, sustaining, having systems that can sustain our habits. That it will be in life.
That is so true. So you said first step is meaning, and what was the second?
Move.
Move. Okay. So first step is meaning, second is move, third is measure, and the fourth is maintain.
Yes.
Beautiful. And oh my gosh, yes, you can use it in your business as well as in your private personal life. Daniel Chacon, thank you so much for joining us. And he said, find the metrics and measuring when to change the plan. Absolutely, man. You are so on point. And Diana, thank you so much. And all what you said is brilliant, because again, we can use it and apply in our business as well in life. Life and business goes together. We just think that it does not. Anyway, very random question to kind of close our conversation. What makes you so crazy that time is not existing?
So what would be my personal answer?
Yeah.
It's because when I read science, the science shows that right now, as I am speaking this, the second is just left, you know? There is
Right.
nothing that I can actually grasp of the present, or not even from the present. So as I'm speaking, the time is living. So as a conclusion, it doesn't exist from the science point of view. And from a spiritual point of view, we are beings of impermanence. That means that everything is changing all the time, and it's that for like that forever. So that means that the time actually doesn't exist. We just have this notion of time here in this dimension or life that we are having, so we can make sense of the experience. That's something that is out inside of us, which whatever you want to call it, God or a special energy, is having that experience. So we are just a channel for that beautiful experience to be, exposed in the world. And for that to make sense of that magnificent experience, then we have the sense of time and space, but both of them actually don't exist.
Wow. There's so much in here that I have to go and listen again. Diana, thank you so much for being and sharing your wisdom with all of us. Where people can find you, where can contact you, get to know you more, and what you do?
Yes, I am in all social media platforms as Diana Olynick. Even TikTok, all the platforms speaking about these beautiful topics, and just every day in social media, in the stories, connecting and saying to you, how are you today? And I wish you all the best today, my friend. This is what I always say. So we're always connected. I love you so much. And thank you so much, Beata, for this opportunity. God bless you all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I just want to mention that you do have your own show, your own podcast, and you can have everyone, you can see the name right there. So how do you pronounce it? The Alchemia?
Alchemia Success Show. And
Okay.
I just quickly want to say Alchemia stands for alchemy. So it's transformation, like transformations for success.
Beautiful. So everyone, please connect with Diana. She's an awesome entrepreneur, but also loving and the most kind person I ever met. Probably we connected very quickly. I love her so much. Even we know each other for a short time. Again, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you everyone for watching and joining me every week. If you want to connect with me, you know where to find me. I'm here on Facebook, Instagram. Also, you have my website. It's Beata, Beata, lifecoaching.com. I'm here for you. Please let me know who else would you like me to bring, what topics, what makes you excited, and what you want me to bring more, or who do you want me to bring more. Thank you so very much. Again, please share, like, because you never know who needs to hear this message today. Diana, thank you so very much for sharing this couple moments with me today, and have a wonderful day. Everyone else on the other side, I love you, and keep smiling and keep inspiring. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.